Folks, late last week, the Federal Trade Commission indicated that identity theft is now the #1 crime in the United States, with over $1.5 billion lost to fraud. Our guest this morning is Skip Cowan, personal finance specialist. Skip, this is a staggering number, $1.5 billion
With a
lost
B,
to fraud.
yes indeed, sir.
So, first question, what can we do to make sure we don't fall victim to this?
Well, I think it pays just to realize that possibility that somebody's out there trying to steal your ID exists, and you got to be aware of what's going on around you. For example, a couple of months ago, I started receiving this letter in the mail, and it was from a place in Atlanta, and they told me that I owed them $18,000. Well, I knew better than that, so I just threw it away. Well, finally, on the fourth letter, it was certified mail. I thought, oh my gosh, what in the world? There's no way I owe this money.
Yeah.
But there was an 800 number to call, and I thought, well, what's the harm?
Right.
So I called them, and I go through this long litany of things with this woman. And finally, at the end of the conversation, she says, you know, we can clear this up, because I told her, this is not mine. We can clear this up, just give me your social security number. Boom, I hung up the phone right now.
Yeah.
But how many people would say, man, I want to get this off my record, because and they would give that social security number. The moment they do, the game's on for that identity theft person, and then Katie barred the door, because it becomes really ugly.
Yeah, and that, you know, I mean, that's kind of an unusual way to think about it, because you're right. If I got something like that, you might think, well, wait, have I done this or have I done that? Or maybe someone is already doing the identity theft.
Yeah,
Let me
you
clear
just
it
don't
up.
know, and you just want to clear it up, and when you want it to go away. And so you give out that information. Bottom line is, Chad, you can't give out that information to anybody.
Don't give that information
No,
out.
especially somebody who calls you. Now, if you've called someone and you know exactly who they are, you can be more vulnerable. But
you get that number from a reputable source, because the key is, even though you're making that phone call, you got that 1-800 number from their solicitation.
Exactly,
right? Gotcha.
Exactly. So I didn't know what it was. But so if you're talking to your banker and you know it's your banker, then it's not a problem.
Okay.
But otherwise, I would be leery of anyone who asks me for personal information.
Gotcha.
I'm reluctant to give it.
Okay. Now, you know, most people have smartphones these days. I don't know what the figures would be, but are they a problem? We've got so much data stored on those now with our, you know, Apple has the passbook. We've got all of this information.
Right.
Are they a threat?
Potentially, yes. And the reason being, and you just put it very well, is that there's so much data stored on your phone. What happens if you lose it?
Right.
I've got it password protected. Oh, really? Tell that to a hacker.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, within 5 minutes, they've got the password solved. They're into your stuff, and they've got all of your data. So you got to be real careful with that. I don't know about you, but I've lost 2 phones. I've had one stolen. Those things happen.
Yeah. So would you recommend not storing those things on the phone?
I would recommend that.
Just keep that off.
Keep it off the phone, especially debit card numbers and PIN numbers, because once an ID theft has that, they can literally empty your checking account within minutes.
Wow.
And it does destroy you, because think about this. The bank doesn't know whether you gave that guy the PIN number or not, but if he's got it, how did that happen?
Right.
Man, that's disaster.
Right. Well, so Skip, if folks want to, if we need like the top 3 tips to avoid identity theft, you know, unfortunately we're short on time. We could do an entire show on identity theft prevention. What would you say to consumers? What are the top 3 things that we can do now to avoid becoming a victim?
The very first thing, and in fact I do this, is get yourself an ID theft protection service. I use Identity Guard, for example, but there's LifeLock, there's other things out there. And Costco has a great product. Do you happen to be a Costco member?
Yes.
For under $10 a month, you can get an ID protection service that Costco offers that is comprehensive and gives you a lot of peace of mind. I would certainly do that. I think it's well worth the money.
Well worth it. Okay. Well, so folks, there's a lot of information out there, and of course we will have links on our website to the information, Skip, that you have shared with us today. Always a pleasure seeing you. Good stuff coming up. Now, one thing that I want to talk about, which we didn't get to last time, Rotary Club of Albuquerque coming up on its 100th birthday.
How about that?
And there's a project going on with them at Explora. Can you talk to us briefly about that?
I can. Explora and the Rotary Club of Albuquerque have teamed up to create this new exhibit called Working Together to Build a Village.
Okay.
And we're taking part of what Explora has now, expanding it, putting a roof over it, and it's going to be a situation where parents, children can come together, work on architectural projects, bridge building, home building. Oh man, it's going to be fantastic.
Fantastic. All right, we'll have links on that as well at casa.com under the Style tab. Always a pleasure to see you, Skip. We'll be
Indeed,
right
sir.
back, folks.